Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys have been doing well. It's your boy Lumbo back with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Battlefield 6 beta and my thoughts on it. I played it a couple hours ago live on stream, and I had an absolute blast, but I do definitely have some dislikes and likes, and I'm going to be going over how good and hyped up Battlefield 6 is, because the actual launch of it has been insane. And I first want to start off with the dislikes, and before we get into it, make sure you guys drop a like and hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of the Battlefield 6 beta so far, if you're enjoying it, if you're not, and why. But for the dislikes, I feel like personally, for the first one, it needs a bit, like a tiny bit of faster movement, right? I really feel like movement is not being really used that much, and it's not really useful to use. I'm not seeing a lot of people try to use movement. I'm just seeing people either literally crouch sprint or just sprint to every single place, and in order to dodge bullets, everyone's, laying down, going prone. But at the same time, when I do say that, looking back at older gameplay, that's what everybody used to do, And I need to realize that this is a traditional Battlefield game, but I also feel like there could definitely be a bigger skill gap rather than just aiming and shooting. And I feel like that skill gap can definitely be found within movement. Like, let's say, for example, depending on if you're using assault, support, recon, or engineer, depending on which one, and maybe, just maybe, for assault, maybe they have a faster sprint than other people, right? Because they're using an AR and SMG. Stuff like that, right? But I'm honestly kind of okay with the movement. I definitely feel like it can definitely improve in the fact that, the way it looks, how flowy it is, and how it just feels. But I would love to see it, I wouldn't mind if the movement was faster and or it was more useful to, to use and learn, right? I feel like I saw a lot of people not really use it and or care for it. Everybody was just sprinting and laying down and not really trying to use the slide mechanic at all. But yeah, I feel like either way, with movement right now, I'm kind of, on the 50-50 side of, should it be really improved? Because this is supposed to be an original Battlefield game in the sense that, it's supposed to feel like the older ones, or does it need to cater to Call of Duty players? But at the same time, it's like, dude, I haven't been playing Battlefield that long. So I kind of 50-50 on that, but I wouldn't really say it's a dislike. It's just something that I noticed, right? But for the second one, we have the leaderboard needs more information, okay? I'm going to be honest. For 2042, even though it's arguably the worst Battlefield game of all time, the leaderboard I felt like was really great. It had my kills, it had my deaths, even though it wasn't like K, D, A, all that stuff. It was like a bunch of symbols I had to figure out. It had stuff like revive, support, etc. And it would tell us how many times we had it, right? How many captures we had. For Battlefield 6, it only has the kill-death ratio and then the assist as well. And that's literally it, right? And I feel like without those kind of stats like revive, support, engineering, all that stuff, right? Without those stats, I feel like it makes the leaderboard very empty. And I feel like it makes, for me personally, it's harder for me to actually continue to either play the role that I want to play, like being a medic, right? Because I don't see how many revives I have, and or somebody that's engineering, I don't even see how many things I've healed up or, have fixed or have deflected, etc., etc. I could go on. So I feel like with the full game coming out or the next beta, they could add more information for the leaderboard, because I feel like for Battlefield 2042, the more I've played it, the more I've loved seeing my revives go up as a medic, right? And or my support when whenever I heal somebody or something like that. I would love to see more information for the leaderboard, but honestly, if it's that, compact and very linear, I won't mind it, right? But I feel like depending on the game mode, like Conquest, Close Quarter Conquest, and or Domination or TDM, I feel like they could change the leaderboards depending on that, right? And lastly, one of my other dislikes is the bloom on keyboard and mouse. Definitely feels weird. Maybe it's a skill issue, you could say, but I've had several people during my stream complain about how the guns feel on keyboard and mouse, how, yeah, I'm shooting straight, but because of the bloom, I'm not really shooting straight. The bullets are still flying everywhere, right? So I was definitely seeing that. For 2042, I feel like they had it, but it wasn't that noticeable or wasn't as strict. But for Battlefield 6, for the beta at least, the bloom has been insane. It's been super either inconsistent or consistent with where I'm aiming and where I'm actually trying to, hit my bullets at. I feel it the most with LMGs and SMGs. ARs feel perfectly fine. They all shoot straight. They're absolute lasers. But SMGs and LMGs feel like I'm trying my luck at actually hitting them, even though I'm aiming right at them, right? That's what I'm trying to say when it comes to the bloom on keyboard and mouse. Feels very weird. Even on controller, I've seen some people literally have moments where they're aiming at the person, but because of bloom, or maybe it's a skill issue, their bullets don't even hit. And the second to last one, actually, I lied. The screen when you pick where you spawn. I don't know what's actually called, but sometimes on keyboard and mouse, it is glitched to all hell. I've had to do this multiple times, but I had to press the same button multiple times to actually spawn in. I don't know why it's like that, but for whenever you pick where you spawn at, whatever, point or person or, beacon, right? Sometimes on keyboard and mouse, it would glitch out and you would have to press the spawn in button multiple times. And lastly, changing your attachments mid-match before spawning is clunky, right? You can only actually change your attachments mid-match while you're either dead and or when you spawn in and stand still. You can't, once you move, you legit cannot change your attachments anymore. And I'm fine with them removing that 2042 feature where you can change on the go. I really like that. I'll talk about that a little bit more later on. But actually changing your attachments mid-match after you die or before you spawn in again, it's so clunky, right? It literally pops up for a second. As soon as you move, you can't do it anymore. And now let's go on and move over to what I like about the game. First of all, the audio is amazing. It's 10 times better than Call of Duty, and I feel like it's also better than 2042. I can hear anything and everything, and nothing was ever too loud or too quiet. Everything was just right. Literally, the tanks, the shooting, the firing, popping a grenade, popping a smoke, reloading, footsteps, all that stuff was amazing. I could quickly identify where people are above me or below me, to the corner, all that stuff, right? And I had a sense of what was going to happen if it was like a nade or something gets, thrown on like a C4 and gets blown up. I'm like, okay, this could possibly be happening. The audio is really good in Battlefield 6's beta right now. And the next thing I want to talk about is the atmosphere and overall look. It is great. It's amazing. And I feel like the look in the atmosphere is way better than 2042 just based off the fact that I feel immersed all the time. Maybe it's because the way the guns look, the characters look, the maps, the way they look and how they play out, and or the fact movement is really not that crazy like it was in 2042. I feel like for Battlefield 6, they have absolutely hit the nail on the coffin when it comes to the atmosphere and the overall look. I was playing throughout this entire gameplay that you guys are seeing. I was playing on all low settings, everything turned off, etc., on the lowest settings possible, and I was still running the game perfectly fine with, me being on stream and also recording at the same time, and I never stuttered, lagged, glitched at all. And the just overall look and atmosphere was just amazing the entire way through. I truly did feel like I was at war whenever I was shooting, or even when I was sniping especially, and going 100 meters out against another sniper and getting shit on. But the atmosphere and overall look, EA and DICE have actually done really well on, right? I feel like it's way better than 2042. I've also loved the class changes, or the class setup changes that they did, of the guns being locked to a class and a certain person you play. Like Assault only has ARs, medics have LMG, stuff like that. And I also love the fact that the customization system for the guns are now a pick 100 system, aka a pick 10 system. And I also love the change of not being able to change your attachments mid-match. I feel like for Battlefield 2042, no matter the situation you were in, you were able to get out of it because you were able to quickly change attachments. I don't really feel like that's possible in real life, to quickly change out from like a 4x scope to a 2x scope and then change out your magazine type and or like your barrel attachment. So, having that be removed for Battlefield 6 is amazing. I honestly just feel like they need to work on changing your attachments mid-match before you spawn in. But the next thing I want to talk about is the pregame lobby. The pregame lobby is great, super simple and easy to the point. There's nothing, overly, distracting anybody. The drop-down menu is amazing. I really like the UI as well, for the character selection and the, customization of the weapons, all that stuff, right? And lastly, it feels like a traditional Battlefield game, right? After playing Battlefield 6's beta and, comparing it to my time recently on 2042, it really feels like 2042 just had the Battlefield name slapped onto it just for an IP and sales thing. They literally only put Battlefield 2042 and the name Battlefield in it just to get more sales and then make it a Battlefield game. When you compare both games and them being like a couple years apart, it literally feels like two completely different studios and games entirely, right? Battlefield 6 feels like a true Battlefield game. 2042 seems like an attempt like Delta Force to copy Battlefield and be a copycat of Battlefield. This game for Battlefield 6 already for me, like I feel like I'm playing Battlefield Hardline again or Battlefield 3, right? And I feel like a lot of OG players could definitely feel the same way. I'm enjoying the game so far, and it definitely feels like a traditional Battlefield game. Doesn't feel like it's trying to be like Call of Duty. It more feels like it's trying to be its own thing. And I feel like that's what a lot of Battlefield players wanted. And yeah, I like the game overall. And if you guys enjoyed my little takes on it, let me know in the comments below if you disagree or agree. And drop a like and hit that subscribe button if you guys want more. It's been your boy Limbo though, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.